Hello and welcome to this episode of the AEC Business Podcast. I'm your host Arni Heiskanen. Today I'm thrilled to speak with Katie Coulson, Executive VP and General Manager of Skanska Advanced Technology, also known as SAT or SAT. It is an operational unit focused on high-tech and semiconductor manufacturing, and Katie and I will unpack what inspired Skanska to create SAT, how it operates within the larger organization, and what tools and strategies it's deploying. And we'll also explore how SAT scales innovation, fosters global partnerships, builds its team culture, and also what's on the horizon. Katie, welcome to AEC Business.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I know you have been with Skanska for 25 years already. So what led you to take up a new role at the Advanced Technology Unit?
I've been in construction for over 30 years, and as you mentioned, at Skanska for 25. And I've, for most of my career, I've really spent in that high tech manufacturing, semiconductor space, pharma, that type of really technical. And so it just seemed the natural, as Skanska was looking to start up this new operating unit for advanced technology that, based on the experience that I have, to really start this unit up. And, I think that as construction is changing and we're looking at more technology type work, to really have a specific operating unit that is focused on our tech clients.
Okay, so you already kind of answered my question, but what catalyzed the launch of SAT in early 25? Was it more like client demand or market trends or technology or internal requirements?
Yeah, I think it's really about the market demand to have, our clients are not just local, they are national, international, and really have a single points of contact for the clients, because they expect that if you're in the Western US or the Eastern US, or you're working in different geographies, that you're really functioning the same. And that is really helped by having this vertical market where we can talk to, the clients can talk to just one person and really understand where they can do that work.
So, as an organization, how do you sit within Skanska? Are you a standalone office or fully funded and autonomous, or how do you stand?
Yeah. So Skanska really has offices based on geography. And so this is really the first vertical market that we have, so operating unit. And so really I have where I'm responsible for all the P&L. It is a totally separate operating unit, but then really we're partnering with our local offices where they have the presence, though, to be able to have the relationships with the subcontractors, the jurisdictions of how do we get permits and work through those types of things, and having those local relationships, but then be able to bring the expertise really of the high tech work.
Okay, so before SAT, how did you operate? How has SAT changed the way Skanska approaches these high tech projects?
Yeah, we used to. I'm based in Portland, Oregon, and we would do a lot of work. It's really kind of a tech hub here. Would do a lot of work there, and in the last, um, you know, 10 years, we've been expanding into other areas and to meet different client demand. And we really saw that it made sense to have really this single point of contact so that our clients aren't maybe working with our office here and then office in different locations. And it's really helped to streamline those conversations and relationships.
As a unit and specialized unit, you certainly use technology and you can innovate and improve your performance. So how do you shape your innovation and technology strategy?
Yeah, obviously our clients are all doing tech and innovation. And so how do we bring that to our clients is really important. And making sure that we're looking across our overall portfolio, and that our offices and our each project are working together to supply that for the client. And so, we're doing different things with integrated digital twin, high tech MEP coordination. How are we looking at schedule and risk? How are we looking at different modularization for clean room strategies? Some of the things that we're really seeing is how do we do some offsite manufacturing and making sure that we're tracking all of that material and equipment and supplies so that when it gets to the different sites. And so looking at AI project controls, how are we doing work with using AI? And I would say just even in the last 6 months, it's really escalated a lot of how do we use AI smarter when we're tracking, whether it's safety or workflow automation or just tracking our materials. I feel like that space is just going so fast. It's made honestly our work better and easier, and people be able to really do their job better.
Yes, and I imagine that because you have these high-tech clients, you have to be kind of on par with them technologically. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that many problems of construction are related to the fact that we always try to reinvent the wheel, and it's very difficult to let's say transfer the knowledge and experiences from one project to another. And now you're in a position that you can do that. So how do you systematize your processes and technologies?
Yeah, you're right. And that's what our clients expect, right? That it doesn't matter where we're doing work, that we're doing it the same. And then obviously where we have people that are working at different sites or with different clients, that it makes it easier for the startup if people are doing all of that work. So we really have standardized just the work that we do, the templates, the playbook, making sure that we're using the exact same systems in different locations, but also across different clients as well, so that it's easy to come in. And a lot of, honestly, our tech clients have their own systems that they want us to use. And so being able to have people trained up quickly to be able to use those client systems has been imperative for our work. And I think that's really what has helped with that, that we have this one group, so that we're not saying, oh, well, in this office, we do this one way, and in another office, we do it this way. That then we can really say, no, in the technology space where our clients are requesting different things, honestly, than we see for other clients, then it is standardized across. And that has really helped to be able to, it helps our teams, right? So they don't feel frustrated. They don't know if they're supposed to do kind of the local work or with what we're doing.
Do you think that this kind of approach also improves client loyalty? Kind of. Do you see that it has any impact on that?
Yeah, definitely. They just, right, obviously they want the project. They want their project completed. And all of these other processes of how we're doing it, they want to see we're reporting out the same, whether it's for their cost, on their schedule, how we're having material arrive to the site, giving updates for safety. And it's just helped overall, because also tech clients, they don't just have these regional people either. They roll up to this national or international. And so then we're getting all the information the same, presenting the information the same. And then that really helps with the overall communication, because they're looking at their overall work and book of business and making sure that everything's tracking for what they're doing.
Hmm. You already mentioned that the local units, they take care of the local, let's say, regulation, building codes and things like that, permits also maybe. But how do you collaborate with them? What's the way to collaborate like that?
Yeah, and that's where I think it's such an important relationship for us of having those local markets. And like you said, it is the jurisdictions, but it's the relationships with the subcontractors of getting those people on board and understanding the labor market in that area to make sure that we get the actual work, the workers for the work. That is key. But what we've seen is we have people who are specialized in high tech work, but we also need additional people that really understand Skanska, right? And so bringing on additional people to our projects so they can help with Skanska people as well. But then it's hoping to train those people to be able to do additional high tech and semiconductor type work. Where, I mean, that's where really the construction market is going. So many other areas are down, and this market sector is just growing and growing. And as we see more AI remote work, schools doing remote, more e-commerce, right? I mean, all of those types of things, it's only going to drive more technology and data that then is needed for this type of work.
Hmm. Well, you mentioned that you have international clients, uh, but also Skanska has a presence in many countries. For example, here in Finland, but the construction methods and the regulations are different in the US and Finland, certainly. Is it possible to share knowledge internationally, and how do you do it?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, we are, we're a Swedish-based company, so obviously I work in the Nordics, UK. As you mentioned, in Eastern Europe, we also have locations. And really, what we've been able to do, because a lot of these clients that we're working with are international, and so they have, obviously there's local building codes or different ways of doing work. But the way that the client works and a lot of their systems and things like that are similar. And so we have partnered with the different offices to make sure that we're aligned so that we're speaking as we have the same client in the US or in one of the other countries that we're working with, to make sure that they understand and we understand kind of some of the expectations. We've actually had some people come to Oregon to from a different office of ours to really check out what we're doing, how the work happens. And we've done the same where we've gone to some of those international sites as well to really do that sharing of knowledge, which has helped, honestly, both of our teams.
Hmm. Well, construction is people business, I think, eventually, and leading teams requires a particular culture. Can you describe the culture you're fostering at SAT?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned again, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I really focus on trust and communication, making sure that our team members feel that they're included and they're really bringing their best selves to work. And I also believe a lot in flexibility so that people feel valued and when you have other things that are going on in your life, that you can go take care of those, and then you can really focus on work and making sure that you're present wherever you're at. So for me, it's really this purpose-driven culture. I don't just say things. I lead that way as well. I make sure that I take vacation and that other people do as well, right? And you need to I believe in that kind of authentic leadership, right? Where I'm not saying something and doing something totally different. And I think really we also drive innovation and new ideas. And if everything works, we're probably not trying hard enough. And so how do we encourage people to really look at things differently? Because in this tech realm, we have to do those types of things, and really focusing on people, that they feel included, that they feel safe at work, they feel like they're continuing learning, that they have growth. That I've found is really helpful for our team.
So you have around 180 people now at SAT. Do these do the employees, do they come from outside or from within Skanska?
So the people, when we really kind of started up this unit in the beginning of 2025, they were working on our tech projects. And so now, and that's actually what's that really good, is as projects ebb and flow uh, with that, but also with our different different geography offices, we can then share team members as well, right? And so I think that has been really helpful, where we can hire people externally who maybe have additional skill sets that we need in the tech. But also we need people that know construction, know Skanska systems, and have been able to do that, which has helped, right, to, as market changes, to be able to keep people busy in different areas, but also give people experience that they want to work in the tech industry and do some kind of cutting edge construction. And then it gives people opportunities that maybe they want to go work on a commercial project. So I think it gives people different opportunities.
Yeah. So to an outsider like me, not involved in the US market, I think that manufacturing and construction are facing both challenges and opportunities in the US. What are your thoughts on the near future regarding high-tech construction?
Yeah, and you're right. There's a lot of things going on with having manufacturing in the US. There's just kind of a lot of things that are happening, and I think for the US, especially in this high tech data center type, so much work is happening all over the US, and just trying to understand what work is coming. And we've also seen, though, different clients will build and then slow down, and we're used to that, I would say. For me, working 20 plus years in this high tech, that as fast as a project can start, it can stop. And I think now that there's a lot more projects out there like that, people aren't used to that type of, that you get a large project and then it's slowing down. So I think it's just adjusting to some of those things as the clients are figuring out what their needs are. But I only see growth with all of the AI and people, just everything is becoming more digital and technical, whether it's, gaming or working or schools or e-commerce, right? And so I feel like it's just going to keep growing as, people are demanding it.
Yeah. So if you look ahead, what emerging trends in high-tech construction are catching your eye at the moment?
Yeah, people are really looking at what is out there, how we can have different types of design, robotics, looking at different ways for the supply chain to make sure that we can do that. I think that there's, with the AI and automation, that is only going to accelerate changes and how we deliver products. How do we make sure that we're hitting the schedules? We're really seeing that in the tech market, that the clients have already sold their products. They have these tight timelines, And so I think it's really looking at how do we continue to operate quickly? How do we cut costs? How do we look at projects differently? I think there's, just so much offsite manufacturing, which will really help, especially as we talk about costs and we talk about labor, is doing that type of work in locations where there isn't a lot of construction so that you can do that. It's actually less expensive to do it in another area where there is available labor and then ship things to the location of where the job is at. So I feel like just really thinking about how do we do construction differently. It's probably not all local and on the job site, and just continuing to make those changes.
Yeah, I think that prefabrication or offsite construction is definitely something that you could do more in the US anyway. So, Katie, this has been enlightening. Thanks for sharing SAT's journey and strategy and vision. To close, what final takeaway would you give to AEC innovators and construction leaders?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the tech market is only going to continue to grow. And how do we all adapt and get on board to, it's doing things differently. And I think that a lot of times in the tech market is everyone has been in a hospital or a school or an office building. And a lot of times in the tech market, it can feel difficult, or because it's very heavy mechanical and electrical. And so I think just being open to seeing the possibilities and the great potential for the work that is in the tech sector. And, I just really think that's where construction is going.
Yeah. If our listeners would want to contact you and SAT, how can they best do that?
Yeah, I think the best way is to connect with me on LinkedIn. And reach out that way. I'm pretty active on there. And so, yeah, please just reach out and connect.
Okay, very good. Katie, I thank you very much, and I'll let you go now for your work day, because it's morning where you're now. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.